PodMax podcast, where we talk about podcasting. So if you are a podcast host, if you're a podcast guest, if you've never listened to podcasts, but maybe have, I don't know, a dream of starting your own podcast, but you really don't know what it's about, then this is the show for you.
Welcome to the PodMax podcast.
What is happening, everybody? Welcome to another awesome episode of the PodMax podcast here on this tremendous Wednesday. Rachel, what is happening with you, man?
Well, you know, the show must go on. So I am on vacation this week. I'm in beautiful Cape May, New Jersey, and, you know, I can bring all my stuff with me. So this is a little piece of Cape May for you. Have you ever been to Cape May, New Jersey?
What's that?
Have you ever been to Cape May, New Jersey?
I have never been to New Jersey other than, you know, watching Jersey Shore, of course. That's my only impression of Jersey.
Yes, not the same. Not the same. This is an incredible place. This is like my shameless plug for Cape May, New Jersey, because I haven't been here since I was a kid. So beautiful. I love it. I don't want to leave. So I may do next week's show from here too. I'll just stay in this room.
Just stay forever.
We rented a whole house. It's great. I'm just going to stay.
Well, knowing you were on vacation, I was jelly because I'm still here in Dallas, Texas. But I did put on my fancy little sailboat shirt just so I could feel like I'm at the beach as well. So it's great to be there with you, Rachel.
Well, thank you for supporting the theme. Absolutely. Looks good. So we have a bunch of cool things going on coming up.
Yeah, man.
Where do they need to be on August 27th?
They need to be right here. They need to be right here at the PodMax event. We are having another massive PodMax event on August 27th. It is going to be a phenomenal day of podcast exchanges. There's going to be podcast hosts. There's going to be podcasters. There's going to be podcast guests. And there's going to be a tremendous lineup of keynote speakers as well.
Absolutely. You may know Caleb Silver, editor-in-chief for Investopedia. That's a big name star right there. So you're going to have a front row seat, be able to ask him some questions. He's only one of our keynote speakers. So we encourage everybody, if you haven't signed up, you can go to right down below. You'll see the lovely ticker right there, podmax.co. Check it out. And we would love to see you there, August 27th.
Can't wait, man. Caleb is a tremendous speaker, and man, he's got a wealth of knowledge and just a wealth of experience overall when it comes to investing and managing your personal finances. So this is an awesome opportunity to come be a part of this event and actually walk away with some applicable skill sets after the fact. So we hope to see you there.
For sure. All right, should we dive in?
Let's jump in.
Let's jump in. Let's talk about build it and they will come.
Build it and they will come.
Build it and they...
I always do that, Larry. I always do it. Okay, redo. This is a live show, people. No, first I want to talk about have you ever. Do it again. Come on. Have you ever? Boom.
Have you ever?
I love our producer, man. Rob, good job, buddy. Way to be on the fly. Way to be able to jump up and throw in those transitions right there on the fly. I love it, man. Thank you so much. So, Rachel, talk to us, man. Have you ever?
Have you ever messed it up constantly and just gone with the flow? No. Have you ever shot on location? You know, in this post-COVID world, saying post-COVID, I'm thinking positive here. We are at home. We're in all different places. The show can be on the road. And, you know, in true fashion, I'm not in my normal studio, but I don't need to be. So I would love to know if people have taken advantage of this season of life and brought their show on the road with them. Have you ever done that, Larry?
I have done it. I've done it quite a bit, actually. One of my first podcasts I would do on location from a comedy club. So we would record every episode there towards the end of that show, live from the comedy club where we were holding the show. So that's part of the fun, man. Being able to jump on a mic, jump on a camera, no matter where you are at, and create engaging and helpful and informational content. It's an excellent opportunity to show not just, you from the studio, but to show maybe that other side of your personality as well and let your audience really get to know you.
Yeah. And what's interesting? I think sometimes people think they need to have this professional studio with all the bells and whistles and the amazing microphone. I mean, granted, I had planned on using this little fun microphone. This is a Shure mic that fits into my phone, but there was a little bit of a delay. And so I'm just using the mic off of my webcam. But you don't need to have that, those $1,000 microphone, and you can use what you have, and you have some fun tools and toys to show everybody. What do you got there, buddy?
Yeah, man, I've got a variety of things. And honestly, it can start right here. We all have one of these. It's a cell phone. And I got to tell you, man, the cameras in the modern phones are on par with some of the video cameras that are out there. I mean, I've actually got video cameras in my studio right now that I don't use because my phone records higher quality video. Now, as podcasters,
crazy?
it's nuts. And we all have this. So there's no reason to go, I can't record today because I'm out and about, or I'm over here, or I'm over there. You have the power to do it right here in your hand. Now, one of the things that people hesitate with, especially when creating podcasts, is audio quality. You got to have that good, that rich, that thick audio quality. But guess what? That's not necessarily the case when you're out and you're about and you're on location. Take Rachel today. She's providing a tremendous amount of value, tons of great content, and the audio quality it's travel quality. So it's something that we work with, we adjust to, we anticipate, we expect. And, one of the things that I've often mentioned is that even if you're starting a podcast, you can have a podcast that even sounds better, sounds more engaging when it's on location. So I use an example. I'm on Esar's podcast this week, as a matter of fact. Esar is one of the Podmax family. And I talked about if you're going to start a podcast, you could start for instance, any business, but I chose landscaping. And now how can I make a landscaping podcast interesting? Well, one of the ways I could do it is maybe I could do it on location. Maybe I could record my episodes from somebody's garden, or maybe I could do it on location from an installation that we're doing, maybe a big backyard creation. And in the background, maybe you have some heavy machinery, and maybe you can hear some birds chirping, and maybe just getting people involved and bringing them into the experience that is the podcast. And you can do that exact same thing regardless of where you're at if you're on location.
Yeah. And you know what? It's so interesting. I don't know. I'm a techie person. I love toys and I love all just the gadgets. So you can actually go pretty expensive with your toys and gadgets, or you can get something just very simple. But I think the true thing that we want to drive home is that the show must go on. It is consistency. You want to provide that consistency for your audience, not, I'm on vacation this week, sorry, it's not going to happen, because then those people drop off. So if you have that consistency, you're going to provide something for your audience, which is very, very important.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And, if you are on location and you still want to have that high quality sound and that high quality video, there are some things that you can use to help get you there. I mean, I showed the phone there. Obviously, that's an option for video. There's also a ton of digital audio recorders that are out there on the market. This is the H4n. Were you laughing at my pinky? I always hold my pinky out. I saw you smile like, here's the H4n. This is a very terrific device right here with dual XLR ports. And no, but seriously,
it's like you're on The Price is Right?
So
$1.
Yeah, well, you win. So, but no, this is a tremendous opportunity right here to get that high quality sound that you're looking for on the go. Some other options that you can use as well. I have this little setup for when I record, and I'll actually be doing one in the morning. I'll be recording a video in the park. There's a park here locally that I love to go to, and I have to go to the dentist in the morning, and I drive right by the park. So after I finish at the dentist, I'm going to stop by and make me a little video. And I've got me this nice little portable tripod. I have this nice little Rode shotgun mic right here that I can plug directly into my phone. And when I have this here, I have the camera, I have the microphone. Now I have high quality video and I have high quality sound that goes with it as well. So something like this, run you a couple $100, but if you're investing in the content that you're creating and you're investing in your business, It's a small investment to have a great portable setup that will allow you to continue the level of content that you're used to creating.
I absolutely love that. And I wish I had that. Can you just like pass it through the screen? Wouldn't that be great? I could really use that right now.
Nah, it's not going. I don't know what the deal is.
It's not working. We're not there yet. Maybe we'll be there one day. But actually, this goes into our next segment, because if you don't have the right equipment, sometimes that can make your confidence kind of, I don't know, go down in the dumps. So let's talk about build it and they will come.
Build it and they will come.
So this segment is all about building confidence. Larry, help me here. We need to build confidence with each other, with ourselves. I mean, this is huge.
Yeah, it can be a huge undertaking to have the confidence to even create this content that we're talking about right out of the gate. Getting on a camera, getting on a microphone, getting in front of people, especially people we don't know, people that we're not necessarily comfortable around, can be extremely intimidating. And building that confidence can be an extreme challenge.
Yes. And you know what? Some people are just naturally confident. You know, that's their superpower. They can walk into a networking event and just own the room. Other people hang back a little bit, scope it out, and then maybe feel comfortable. But I really do think that confidence can be a learned behavior, if you will. There's little tips and tricks that you can do to improve your confidence, because normally it's just all in our heads, you know?
The vast majority of it is in our heads, because we hear that. I mean, there's that old saying that, you know, the number one fear is public speaking. And as content creators and podcasters, that's what we do. That's what we do. And, you know, it's interesting, just to give you a little insight into Lair. I don't have any problem getting on camera. I don't have any problem getting on the microphone, but I have a huge problem when it comes to still photography. Isn't that weird?
Well, I get that. I mean, it always just feels awkward, because you're like posing in a weird way and it's like holding these weird smiles, and you see the picture back, you're like, that doesn't even look like me. So the photographer is the one to really like bring out that personality. But
yeah, I love that.
That's pretty funny. Because you just seem up there. You
gotta stick your chin out further. No, I don't want to stick my chin out further. That feels awkward. So anyways, that's a huge problem. But how is it that we can build our confidence? What are some of the things we can do on a day-to-day basis to build our confidence, so that when we do jump on a mic, when we do jump in front of a camera, we have that presence about us, that authority about us, that will have others be engaged in the content that we create?
Well, number one, I think it's really important for people to sign up for as many podcasting newsletters as possible, because I think what you surround yourself with, and, you know, how great would it be to wake up to your inbox every morning and see a bunch of inspiring, great ideas from other podcasters rather than just junk mail. So getting on as many newsletters as you possibly can, that is a great idea. Do you subscribe to anybody that you, I don't know, like to have that daily dose of inspiration or confidence?
Yeah, I have a couple of them that I subscribe to. I do Pod News. That's one. Podcast Movement has their newsletter that goes out every day as well, and I subscribe to that one. David Hooper's my podcasting coach, and he has his big podcast newsletter that goes out as well. I subscribe to that one. And, you know, they're excellent resources for, one, not only keeping you engaged in the community, but keeping you engaged in the latest news, tips, and tricks of the industry. And if you know that you have these skill sets and you know that you're on top of the industry, you can relax in knowing that you also have that confidence now. You can sit back, because there's no question. You don't go, should I be on this microphone or should I be on this microphone? Should I do this? You know, so educating yourself every step of the way is an excellent way to build that confidence and then display that confidence in each and every episode that you record.
Absolutely. And to be able to speak intelligently about it. So if you're new to podcasting, you don't have to say, oh, well, I know all this. You can simply say, if you're in a networking event or you're just talking with friends and family, I read this article that was really interesting, because then you're sharing something, a piece of knowledge. It's not you being the thought leader right now, because maybe you don't feel confident enough to do that on your own, but to share that knowledge and speak confidently and to speak on something that you read and share the information, that in itself will build your confidence.
Most definitely.
What you're talking about.
Most definitely. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Rach. I apologize for that.
No, it's okay. That's all right.
Go ahead.
Well, something else that they can do, this might sound funny, Lair, but you can listen to podcasts. That might be a good place to start, huh?
This might come as a surprise, but I can't tell you how many podcasters I talk to that says, I don't really listen to podcasts. So I'm like, you don't listen to podcasts, but you want to record a podcast. So how can I create something that I don't even partake in or understand or have really much of a knowledge in? Makes it kind of tough.
No, you need to know the medium, whatever it is, right? You need to understand it and see competition or what other people are doing. I mean, even just to get inspired to see what other people are talking about. Maybe you have an idea that somebody else is already doing, but that's okay. You can add your own spin to something or take an idea and make it your own. And I mean, listening is important. And I know as content creators, there's not a lot of time. There's just not, so pick and choose, but start with at least one show that you listen to, right?
Yeah, find somebody that's in your niche that's doing it well, and then take notes as to what they're doing and why they're doing it well. Try to uncover what is pushing them to that level of success that they're experiencing. Now, this kind of goes back to the building our own brand, and you had already mentioned it. You can put your own spin on it, which is exactly what you want to do. You don't want to get caught up into listening to other podcasts and building a false sense of security by trying to emulate the host or emulate that show or do exactly what they're doing, because odds are that's not going to work for you. So you got to throw that personal spin in there as well. But yes, get an idea. Go out, watch podcasts if you want to, because that's what I do. I'm not a big fan of listening. Audio only is not necessarily my jam, unless it's music. Then I love to jam. But I love to watch podcasts. I like to have the video on in the background when I'm working at my desk. And then if the conversation or whatever it may be gets engaging, maybe there's a high moment there in the presentation, I jump over to see exactly how the guests and how the hosts are reacting and how they're interacting together. That's what I enjoy doing, but I'm still consuming the content that I'm in turn trying to turn around and create myself. So
I love it. It's so interesting. One podcast that I really love is Mike Rowe. Do you remember Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
His show is called The Way I Heard It, and they're just short little stories about people's lives, and he doesn't tell you who the story is about until the very end. I love story-driven podcasts. I love audiobooks, and so I'm that auditory learner, which is interesting. I love that podcasting offers however you learn the best, it is across the board, so many different mediums, which is really different. It's a different thing for this industry. We've talked about this before. It's not just on your phone. It's not just audio. I mean, make sure that you're touching all of those mediums. I think that's important and a better way to get your message out there.
Well, and you hit the nail on the head there as well, talking about you enjoy hearing stories. You enjoy the process of a story being told. And that's something that we can improve on each and every day as well. And as we get to we find ourselves better storytellers, then we're going to find ourselves more confident in the stories that we're trying to tell. One of the books that I love in this regard is called Story Worthy by Matthew Dix. This is a phenomenal resource on how to tell stories, how to get your point across, how to draw the audience in, how to keep them sitting on the edge of their seat so that they know exactly where they don't know exactly where the conversation is going, but boy, they want to be there for the ride. So I highly recommend Story Worthy by Matthew Dix. Check that out. This will help boost your confidence as well. And there's a ton of other resources out there that you can read about storytelling and ways to engage your audience through the power of your voice.
Did you just have that laying right there? Just happen to be right there? Because we didn't talk about this ahead of time. And I love that that's just.
Well, it's interesting because I was planning on working it in, right? But then you turned right
Love
around and
it.
you just served it up. It was like a softball, just tink. I had to hit it out of the park, so it worked out perfectly. I think that's why you and I do so well on this show, man. It's great.
This is what we do. This is what we do. Okay, one last thing that people can do is attend events. I know this is a sweet spot for you, Larry. Attending
very sweet
events,
spot. Love it.
podcasting events. Talk to me. Talk to me.
There's a ton of industry events out there, and sometimes it can be very, very difficult to stay on top of where they are and when they are and how many they are. But in our next segment, we're going to talk about some of these events and keep you in the loop so that you can go in person if you're comfortable enough, right? If, maybe you got the vaccine and you're good to go. But if you're comfortable enough, you can go to these events, engage with other content creators, other podcasters, and get insider tips and tricks in the industry. So let's do it, man. Pro in the know.
Pro in the know.
Pro in the know. I feel like I gotta do my wrestling face every time.
Got to get that flex on. Got to get that flex on.
Cool.
Most definitely. No, but seriously, man, pro in the know. How do we know about these events? There are so many of them, and they tend to be spread out all over the country. And I love the events because I tend to go to the events. I love to be in person. I love to mingle with other content creators. I love to learn from other content creators. And some of the events, whether they're virtual or whether they're in person, are tremendous resources for our own creativity, our own experience, our own confidence.
Putting yourself out there, I think, is a really scary thing sometimes, but wow, the return on your investment can be huge. Just putting yourself out there, doing something that scares you, because then you get over that hump and you realize, okay, I can do this. Okay, I can maybe do a bigger event next time, or hey, maybe I'll even exhibit. Hey, maybe I'll try to host. And I know, Larry, I feel like this is the space that you just shine in. I mean, I know you there's an event coming up that you are exhibiting, hosting, which is it both?
I'm not hosting, but I do speak at some of the events. So we've got some events coming up. I actually have one tomorrow night that I'm actually exhibiting at. I will be sponsoring an event here locally in the Dallas area called Networking with a Twist, which is an opportunity to get out and mingle with other entrepreneurs and other C-suite executives that are out there trying to expand, trying to grow their brand, trying to meet other people doing the same thing that you and I are talking about, extending their reach, growing their network, and in doing so, growing their brand and their business. So be doing that tomorrow night. Now, the big ones, there's a couple of big ones that are just next week. And next week, starting August 3rd, we have one of the industry leaders out there that's holding their conference in Nashville, Tennessee, Podcast Movement. So that starts next week. I know I'll be out there. I know Josh Carey of PodMax here will be out there with me as well. We'll be checking it out and seeing what we can learn, seeing who we can meet, seeing who we can mingle with, and really just having a good time as well.
I want to go. I have FOMO now. I love Nashville. Nashville's such a great town. I want to go too.
Well, as a musician, I'm sure you do love Nashville, right? I mean, I was just out there was it last week? Week before last? Something like that? Yeah. So now I'm going back. And, another event that's right there that same week, but it starts next Friday, I believe what is it, the 7th, the 6th? It starts on the 6th, and it goes through that Sunday, the 8th, is Nashville Rockin' Pod. And I will be taking the stage at Nashville Rockin' Pod. So it's another opportunity. If you're a podcaster and you're in the music space, this is a tremendous opportunity for you to get involved there. Go out there, meet other music makers and other podcasters that are looking to do the exact same thing you're doing. So that's a great event if you're a podcaster there.
And I love that all of these events now, they do have a virtual component of it also. So if you're not comfortable getting out there and mingling, that doesn't mean you have to miss the party. No FOMO here. You can just sign on and still be able to engage. And so they're kind of meeting everybody where they are, which is pretty cool. I have a question for you though. So, a lot of times, anytime you go to a networking event, or certainly an event like the few that are coming up, Do you bring business cards? Are you a business card giver? Are you a business card taker? What's your flow, Larry? How
You
do you
know,
roll when you meet somebody new?
I'm torn, man. And yes, I do have business cards. Yes, I take business cards, but I got to be honest. And this is another little insight into Lair. I probably not probably. I just don't. I don't work. I don't work the business card exchanges as well as I probably should. You know, there's a school of thought where business cards are outdated. You don't need business cards anymore. We can just exchange information on our phones. I've seen some people that have the little pops on the back of their phone that has a QR code on the back. Maybe you can just scan their pop on the back of their phone and get all their information that way. There are a ton of new ways to exchange contact information, and I just don't know if business cards are still the primary way to do it.
Yeah, thank you. I hate them. I do. Actually, I love designing them. I always feel fancy. Like, here's my business card. But you know what? They're expensive, and nobody really uses them. And I feel like when I give a business card, I don't know what they're going to do with it. I'd rather take somebody's business card that I'm interested in furthering a conversation with, or do exactly what you just said. I mean, just have your QR code. Then you get all of their information. Maybe even Amber, who's coming on next, she does this really well. She has a QR code. She has one business card laminated QR code. If somebody fills out all of the information, then she sends them a free gift.
Oh, that's cool.
And I can't tell you what the free gift is. You'll have to fill out all the information and then find out. But it's a really smart way, an engaging way to collect somebody's information and, with their permission, of course. And then you're not just giving away paper that no one's going to look at and throw away in the hotel room as soon as they get back. So, or forget who you were.
Exactly.
Right?
You look at the card and go, "Oh, I can't put a face to this." But here it goes back to confidence, right? Whenever I hand out a business card, I always think back, and you may or may not have seen this fine film, and it's not exactly family entertainment, but American Psycho with Christian Bale, when all they're doing is they're sitting there and they're handing out business cards, and then they're just really analyzing the quality of the card. Ooh, that's a great thickness, or ooh, that texture, or there's just so much to it. And I have that same paranoia that when I hand somebody my card, they're gonna go, "Oh, look at this cheap thing." Or when they hand me a card and it is thick, and maybe it's even plastic. I've seen some plastic business cards lately.
Wow.
What? How much did that cost you to hand out for free? You know what I mean? So that paranoia and that confidence, or lack thereof, when exchanging business cards tends to kind of creep in on old Larry from time to time.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But it is a great way to network. I mean, sometimes in a networking event, because at all of these events, there's an opportunity to network. And that, I feel like, is where people really, really get a bang for their buck, to make sure that you are interacting and creating a relationship with the other people that are in your space. Because, hey, at the end of the day, it's the storytelling, it's the relationships that further whatever our goals are, right?
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure you've met some tremendous people at some of these events.
I got to tell you, that's how Josh and I became best good pals. Josh Carey and I.
Best good pals, I love it.
I had him on my podcast way back in the day, and I'm not sure how that happened, but we just somehow we met, and then we ran into each other at Podcast Movement 2 years ago, and both being newbies that year, we were kind of insecure in being there by ourselves, and so we kind of ended up migrating kind of together, and we were kind of hanging out. We kind of became friends, and here we are today, kind of hanging out and still being best good pals. So it's a perfect opportunity to establish new relationships and continue to grow and evolve in this game. And before we start wrapping up, I want to hit a couple of more events that are coming up. Podcast Con is going to hit. Go ahead. What's that? Who? Where?
Huh? I just said, tell me. I want to know more.
Podcast Con is coming up August 20th through 22nd in Chicago. So for all you Chicagoans out there, you can check that out. After that, we've got the Indie PodCon. It's going to be in Philadelphia. That's going to be happening September 11th. You'll see me there as well. This one's a huge one, man. Well, then we need to get together.
I should go.
Definitely. September, I'll tell you
well.
all about it. There are going to be some amazing speakers at this event, and it's a great opportunity for you to get out there and get involved. So if you're in Philly, you need to go to Indie PodCon. I'm pretty sure he's restricting it to only 100 people in attendance. It's going to be a small event, but it's also very COVID conscious. So it's going to be really restricted on how many people actually get to go. So if you're in the area and you want to go, you want to participate in this, I mean, there are going to be some podcast demigods at this event. It's going to be some of the classic. Dave Jackson's going to be there. Chris Krimitsos is going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm name dropping left and right, but it's a great opportunity if you're in the area to get out there and partake in Indie PodCon. So another big one at the end of September is FinCon. FinCon's in Austin, Texas. It's for financial content creators. If you're in the financial space and you have a podcast or you have a YouTube channel or whatever it may be, if you create content and you're in the financing space, FinCon is where you need to be. She Podcast Live, another awesome event for female podcasters. This is dedicated directly to the female content creator. It is an amazing event. It's going to be October 14th through the 17th in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's a great one. Another one, culturally diverse event, Afros and Audio Podcast Festival, November 13th and 14th. The event is going to be virtual, but it's going to be an amazing day of content creation there as well. So and then we spin off into 2022. We have Podcast Movement Evolutions in March. We have the podcast show in England. We're going to go international. That's probably not an English accent. Please do not cancel me.
Are you going there? Are you signed up?
You do it a lot better than I do.
Thank you. I have like 15 people living in my head. So are you going across the pond for that?
I will not be going across the pond for that, but it's going to be an amazing event. And I just love the fact that we're seeing podcasting grow to such a level that there are international events all over the globe, and there's opportunities for everybody, regardless of where you're at, to jump on board, be a part of the podcast content creation, and be a podcaster. So that's where we're at with that.
This is some good info. We should put all of this in the description so you guys can click around, see what's close to you. See, I have FOMO for sure. Like, I want to be at all of these. They sound so fun. Philly, I'm there.
Can't wait. It's going to be exciting. So next up, we have who? We have Todd and Amber. They're going to be joining us. Todd and Amber, jump on board. Jump in here.
Hold on. Amber, you have laminated business cards? Is that what I heard before? That was Rachel?
Me?
Did you
card. What laminated business card, right, Amber? With your QR
yes.
code.
Okay, I had to take a minute. It's not
I know,
laminated.
she's like, no,
You're making me sound like a crazy cat lady that has a laminator in my office, and I like sit there and laminate all my stuff because I don't want it to get dirty. Like, it is not that. It is a professionally created card. Like, let's be real, okay?
I didn't say that you laminated it.
I'm picturing that she's like laminating her business cards.
No, guys, this is the best invention ever, though. So I'm glad you guys brought it up. It's a company called Mobilo that I got it from, but there's a few others out there. It is one card, and you hold it up to a QR scanner, and it adds your name, phone number, address, your Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff, whatever you want, automatically into their contacts. They just have to hit save. It's fantastic.
Oh, so it's your information, right?
Yes, it's my information. But there is like the company that I did it through, there's a membership that you can get that's really cheap, inexpensive. Cheap's the wrong word. Really inexpensive because it is valuable, where they have to put their information in to get yours. So that adds into your CRM. So
and
it's
then
really
don't
cool.
you give them like a free gift?
I do. I send them like a thank you for connecting email and all that good stuff. So yeah.
See, I remember.
Yeah.
She does. And thanks for throwing that out there. I popped in here a little late, so I didn't know the context of this. And all I heard Todd say was laminated business cards. And I'm like, whoa, like 80s flashback, right?
Yeah.
All I can see is my Blockbuster card remember they were laminated and the ends would always peel up. The corners were always, they were yellow and they were rolled up. Yeah, that's real professional there, Amber. Good job.
I know, right? Yeah. Or like Idaho's driver's licenses used to be like that. Like, and I say used to, like 4 years ago, they were still like that. But they were so like, this is when they got smart. Like maybe we shouldn't just create IDs that people can laminate and go somewhere else. So
that they can print out at home on their inkjet and put in the laminator.
So thanks for allowing me to clarify that.
I actually knew someone one time. You talked about like the plastic business cards.
Yeah.
I knew someone who had metal business cards.
Wow.
They were
That's
I
hardcore.
Think $9 each per business card.
Like,
well, I mean,
How
it's
do you
like, do I
carry
hand
them for
out
starters?
mace with my information, or it's like it could be like a weapon, like
Yeah,
right.
It's like a ninja star. Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
would
it's
never be able to take my business cards into the jail. They'd be like, I'm sorry, you can't give these to your clients.
Yeah, and then how are you going to get referrals that way? Because your clients are always referring other people, which happens to be the topic of our show today.
I
Bam,
know.
Segue king right there.
Look at
Nice.
that. I'm so glad you're here, or else at the end of the next show, we'd still be talking about 80s lamination tactics.
squirrel.
I did see a great meme this morning, actually, about the Blockbuster card. It said, I was at the liquor store and they carded me and my Blockbuster card fell out of my wallet and they said, oh, never mind.
Yeah, you are old enough. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm sad that I didn't save my Blockbuster card.
Yeah.
Why did I not save that? That's
Hey,
like
you
a relic now.
The only
Probably get
reason that
something
even
on
came
eBay.
to the only reason that even came to mind right now is because I was in the garage about 2 days ago digging through some stuff and I found an old wallet of mine. In the old wallet was mine and my wife's Blockbuster cards.
What?
True story. I will go out there right now. I'm going to take a picture of it and I'm going to post that
and tag
picture.
tag me
I'm
in
going
that,
to
yep.
just to show you that I'm telling the truth 100%.
You don't
I know
believe
exactly where
Yeah.
the picture's coming. It's coming. I promise.
While we're off the rails and talking
Are
about
we ever
wallets and
on the
cards,
rails? I mean,
Yeah,
let's
right?
be real,
That's a
Todd.
Good point.
We're
I got
on
a
the
new
rails.
wallet for my birthday last week. I was very excited. And if you start looking up wallets, this is a lesson in marketing and positioning, right?
Yeah.
This whole like slim wallet movement is going on.
Yep.
Slim wallets. And I'm like, damn, that seems pretty cool. This somehow shrinks all the stuff you got so you don't got your George Costanza going on. And I get the wallet in the mail and it has like a business card size little instruction thing. Step 1, clear out your old wallet and throw out anything you don't use. Step 2, only put in exactly things you use on a regular basis. It's like, yo, that's not a slim wallet. That's just telling people clean out their wallets. Like, I don't get it, So, but when you see
fell
someone,
for it.
when you see someone who's got the George Costanza overflowing, they still got their Blockbuster card. They got their expired Blockbuster card and the quote most recent one in there because just in case you need the backup, And you see them, what's going to come to mind? Slim wallet movement. You got to check out. I don't even know the brand that I have, but I do like it. But you got to check out. I'll send you the link to this because you came to mind. This product came to mind. There was a trigger that you have this problem. So today's episode, what we're talking about is how to get good referrals and why referrals work and why they don't work. Because there's a couple situations where referrals really, really fall off the rails worse than this end of this episode just did. And so we want to make sure that everybody listening understands how to best get or give referrals and to make sure that they're set up for success, not just in like getting the business initially, but in turning it into a successful long-term relationship.
Awesome.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be that person where like you send a referral and the person on the other end says, man, what crazy person is Amber introducing me to now? So we're really excited to dig into how to avoid that.
Yeah.
Awesome
Very
stuff.
important. So, should we check out the preview of on-air brands? Let's see what people have to say about on-air brands.
I think everybody kind of knows or has a feeling that podcasting is like a thing, it's just a matter of how it gets incorporated into their business, into their story.
Where else can you get on an event, like in person or online, and have like this collection of people? Any person that this group and this community attracts just like brings it.
There is no community like the PodMax community, guys.
I love PodMax. I love everything about this environment, this family, and every one of these events. It's just tremendous.
This is our 5th time here, and every time it just gets better and better. I mean, the relationships, the format of the event, and the opportunities to put us in front of people like David, for example.
So we're always open to having deeper and more meaningful conversations one-on-one with each and every one of you to say, all right, how do we help each other? We're all in the same game here. It's life, right? Let's just do it as best as we can and have a blast doing it.
I am just like living off the energy from my 2 interviews this morning, getting pumped for my 3rd interview.
There was just a lot of personality that was brought. There was a lot of deep conversations that I wasn't anticipating. It just created magic.
Are you an entrepreneur? Apply now to be a podcast guest at podmax.co.